Hello everybody, this is Peter. It's a Friday, the 2nd of June, and we're looking at a river. Quite a little river. I'm sorry about the traffic behind me, but we'll soon get away from that. This is the River Fray, or the Fray River, and this walk is going to include 2 or 3 points of interest, all in a few minutes. We're going to follow the river a little bit. The great thing about, this is where we're going, the great thing about the River Fray is it's an artificial river. It was built, we think, before the Doomsday Book came out. Now, as you probably all know, the Doomsday Book, I think, was 1086. It's a long time ago. You know how much I like history. And there's a sign which we shall read: dangerous, deep or fast moving water. Parents to supervise their children at all times. Please keep clear of the edge. Deep or fast, perhaps they can't make up their minds. Maybe when it's deep, it's not so fast. When it's fast, it's not so deep. Now we're going to cheat a little bit. We're in a car park at the moment, and there's a pub over there, restaurant, I should call it, called the Malt Shovel. That wasn't always called the Malt Shovel. Once upon a time, I think it used to be called the Shovel. But rather cheekily, I'm going to take a shortcut through the pub garden. Hopefully I won't be waved away or commented on or anything like that. But here we go, up the stairs to our next item to be seen, which is already visible. And people enjoying themselves Friday afternoon in the pub. Where else would you want to be? This is a lock on the Grand Union Canal. It is in fact the Grand Union the Cowley Lock. Now if we go back to look at the River Fray, it actually goes underneath the canal. And people have said to me, how do they manage to do that? Well, they didn't do that. The Fray was there since at least 1086, because several mills on the Fray were in the Doomsday Book. And the canal, of course, is only 200 or so years old, maybe 300. But this lock, very pretty lock, lots of bunting out. Maybe they knew we were coming. Lockkeeper's cottage, seen better days. But underneath here, perhaps you can hear it, there is water flowing. That is the Fray River going underneath us. So they built a viaduct over the Fray River to put the canal in. Obviously they couldn't join the two up because they're different heights. Anyway, we are walking down beside the lock, which is in fact full of water and is empty. No boats going up or down. I'll show you. I like to say upstream, but of course it's a canal, so I could say up canal, but that sounds silly, so I'll say upstream. This canal is always full of water because I don't know, it's not that far from sea level, and we don't need reservoirs or anything to top it up, unlike some canals, say the ones crossing the Pennines. So this is Cowley Lock, and that was the Fray River. Now, people say, well, why is it called the Fray River? Who was Mr. Fray or Mrs. Fray? Well, we just don't know. I have looked him up, and there was a Fray around in the 1500s, I think. But of course, Fray is famous for 2 reasons in the English language. We sing his song quite regularly. Fray's a jolly good fellow, Fray's a jolly good fellow, Fray's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us. And of course famous for some meat pies, as in Fray Bentos. Now, I don't know if you've heard of Fray Bentos. I think they're still going. I looked them up and believe it or not, it's a place in Uruguay. So they named pies after a place in Uruguay. And why not? Anyway, it's a beautiful sunlit day. We've seen the Fray River. We've seen the Cowley Lock. We'll go to these gates, which is designed to obviously stop cars driving along here, to the final part of our little walk, which is to arrive at somewhere slightly different, but of its ilk. You've seen me arrive at this sort of place before. A cyclist has beeped me, hello, and he waved. And of course we come out into a park, a big, beautiful park, which is really nice this time of day. And the light shining through the trees is dappled and no sound. You can't hear the lock water anymore, can't hear traffic, can't hear people much. There's probably some football going on somewhere, hopefully. Nice big wide open space. And this is Cowley Rec. Not Rockingham Rec, Cowley Rec. It's Cowley Recreation Ground. Beautiful place, open, part of the green belt. The Hillingdon Borough is well endowed with green spaces, and this is one of them. They've built on it over there to a bit of hard standing so people can play basketball or whatever, and I think beyond that there's a bowls club. But I'm not going to show you all these things. It's enough to see the canal, the boats on the canal, and the park. That's it. Fray River goes underneath the canal, but really the canal goes over the Fray River, and it ends up joining up with the Colne, not very far from here. It's an artificial river, and it was built probably about 1,000 years ago to feed the locks. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you can.